EMS at sea level. This year, we're talking to some of the people we spoke to last year in the depths of the pandemic and really exploring what their overall experience was like and what they've learned from that process. Today's guest is Juan Arango. He is the managing director of Koh Young Americas. Juan, great to see you again. Thanks for agreeing to participate.
It's great to see you, Phil. It's great to be seen.
Yeah, and great to be seen. It'll be great to actually see you live. I was just talking to the team at IPC about Apex 2022, and I'm just it feels a little bit like deja vu discussing it being live again. And I'm just hoping this time we're all in San Diego together. It'll be like a school reunion, I think.
That's true. We still have hope that the Chicago show will happen in November. But the biggest concern we have is, will people come?
Yeah.
Because in America, the vaccination has been very good.
It's been a good rate.
It's gotten to the point that people that aren't getting vaccinated is because they don't want to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
But in several states, Florida and Georgia, they started vaccination vacation.
Okay. So
you come to their resort for vacation and they facilitate getting vaccinated.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I thought you were going to say the government were giving people a free vacation if they got the vaccination. I was going to say that's a stroke of genius for the tourism industry as well as for getting herd immunity.
But we have employees that have asked, hey, if I get vaccinated, would you give me a bonus?
There you go. That's pretty fair, isn't it? So in all seriousness, let's explore the pandemic experience. When we did this around about this time last year, we were obviously all in the depths of it. You guys were adapting really well. You were, making things happen in whichever way you could to satisfy the needs of your customers. In that 12 months, obviously a lot has happened. We've really learned to exist in this new state. What's that experience been like?
So I guess the experience on the good side is that I think it's given everyone an opportunity to reflect what's important. We were always so driven by work that we forget our own lives and our families and things like that. And that gave us a pause to, dig deep inside us and try, at least on our side, to be better people first, and then employees and family members and things like that. And the other thing it did is it forced us to think outside the box. What we knew as normal things to do, well, guess what? It's not normal.
Yeah.
On the bad side, social isolation has been very hard. I think that we won't see what impact it does have because, there's a lot of people with probably mental health issues that we haven't recognized yet. But I'll give you an example. My 87-year-old aunt and uncle, they say, that's a year I lost that I'll never get back.
Yeah.
So, and if you take it even a little further, and I hate to say this, but we have a lot of people that have lost loved ones due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it really, made us reflect a lot more on what was important.
Yeah, and values. And I think did you have a big family wedding happening last year?
I had a big family wedding in December 2019. So 2 months before the shutdown.
Yeah. So you were one of the lucky ones for that.
We were one of the, my daughter was, it was because I have nieces and nephews that had weddings in March, May, and October that it never happened.
Yeah.
And a year later, they ended up having small weddings where it was just the immediate family, because in a lot of places, you can't put more than 20 people together.
No, that's right. We've got friends here that have postponed their wedding like 2 or 3 times now and still haven't. Well, I've got a new schedule for this December and we're not convinced that's going to happen, partly because of the international travel. So you talked about the issue of social isolation and mental health and the whole team thing really. And I've always felt when I've worked with the Koh Young group, or I've been on your booth, or to any social events with you guys, it feels very much like family. How have you managed to kind of do the buddy thing and reach out to people, make sure people are okay? That's got to be a huge part of your role, Juan, to make sure
Oh,
everybody's
absolutely.
feeling
And
good.
one of the things that we have gone out of our way is to reach out and speak to our employees and see what we can do, just to reassure them that we're there, we're all in it together, we'll all get through it together. But I do have to say, I am so proud of the entire company, especially our service people. Our TS engineers have been putting themselves at risk since middle of June, like there was no pandemic. Sales can't get an appointment to save their life. Everything has to be remote. But the service guys, since middle of June, and I'll tell you, Phil, not one employee got sick traveling on business.
Wow, that's a great
But
stat.
I did have a lot of people get sick on the Christmas get-togethers.
Okay.
And they admitted it was our fault. We partied like it was 1999. And some lost loved ones due to that. But it's just, that was just a reaction. People needed to socialize. It's just, it's tough. But our service engineers, let me tell you, you know how I feel about our family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second to none. Well, this year, our service team was recognized. They received the Service Excellent Award.
From
and to us, our customers and people that know Koh Young recognize that Koh Young has great equipment. And we get awards on that and things. But we had never submitted for this excellent, Service Excellent Award. And it was great to see how the market, the world recognized what we already knew. Second to none. And that's the Koh Young way. We don't follow, we lead.
No, absolutely. It's never a situation of what are others doing and how can we compete. It's always where can you push ahead. It's always been one of my favorite awards, that one, Juan, because it's voted by your customers. They reach out directly to your customers and they get feedback from them. And I've spoken to Koh Young customers, and I've been in factories where there are Koh Young facilities, and people do talk about the machines, but people talk about your people just as much, and in glowing terms when they talk about installation, when they talk about training, when they talk about coming to your headquarters in Atlanta to get the training to learn how to program the machines. That's just as big a part of the Koh Young package, I think, as the technology. And when you look at that customer liaison, you've had to adapt that a lot. As you say, you can't do a sales call, so you're doing all of those virtually. I guess installation is a little bit different. And again, as you say,
and the break fix, a lot of it we've done over the phone, but when it got to the point, then they jumped through hoops to be able to get in. It's just, their attitude was, tell me what I have to do. If I got to get tested tomorrow to go somewhere, to then get tested again, to go somewhere, so be it.
Yeah. And if you got to isolate or you got to do whatever you need to do.
We ended up sending 3 people to Costa Rica, and this customer required 2 weeks of isolation, quarantine, before they could come in the plant. So we had 3 people sitting in a hotel for 2 weeks before they can go in.
Well, luckily with your equipment, I guess they can do some remote diagnostic and stuff whilst they're in that hotel. But that's
absolutely,
that's kind of a 2-day job becoming a 2-week job, isn't it? So it's It's a
Well,
change in approach.
it was a large installation, so it was 2 weeks of quarantine, then 4 weeks on site.
Yeah. Wow.
And so they were away for 6 weeks. So again, shows the commitment they have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big deal. That absolutely is a big deal. And were there particular countries, you mentioned Costa Rica, you have a huge footprint in Mexico. Were there particular regions where challenges were somewhat different, or was it pretty consistent across the board?
So for us, Mexico was a lot easier because in Mexico, by design, we have at least 2 in key areas. So Guadalajara, we have a bunch, but 2 in the Tijuana, Mexicali area, 2 in the Reynosa area, 2 in the Matamoros area, 2 in the Chihuahua, Juarez area. So most of them, they were just driving, and driving was a little more relaxed on the requirements to get in.
Yeah, of course.
But in the U.S., there were times that, let me tell you, Dave Nemeth did an outstanding job juggling, because he had to pay attention from where he could send somebody to where. So, for example, we had a need in New York, and at the time, New York pretty much, there were, I think, 4 states that you could live in, that you could go. But if you traveled to any of the others, then you couldn't go.
Okay.
So one of the things he did, he put one of the guys, Michigan was okay. So this guy lived in Michigan. He worked 2 weeks in phone support. No, a month in phone support, because he had been to the states that you can't be.
Yeah.
And then he sent them to New York. But, it was just the working together with customers, because they understood, we were all trying to follow the rules that different people put. So it's the way we say it is necessity, it becomes the mother of invention, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You just have to play by the rules and figure out what we can do to make it better. And everybody, there were no complaints. It was like,
you just gotta get creative, haven't you, Juan? So
absolutely.
When you look back at that process, and you try and look forward to some kind of recovery, and as we mentioned, the US have done a good job in terms of vaccination, so we should be able to look forward to that. Are there things that you changed and did differently during lockdown that you'll keep? Are there lessons learned that you
absolutely
think stand you in good stead for business?
I can tell you that one of the things that, it's a bad excuse. We didn't have time, right? We didn't have time. Well, we had time this time.
Yeah.
We really, as you know, we weren't doing trade shows, we weren't traveling. So we basically shifted our budget into a very aggressive marketing plan. And, I joke with the guys, Brent taught us that you can teach old dogs new tricks.
Yeah.
Because we had to do things different. Video conferencing, the constant talking to customers.
Yeah.
You had more time because you're not on a plane forever. So the marketing, absolutely. And we created a new experience on the demo. And you probably saw it with Joel in the video in our office.
Yeah.
So that was actually, I have to give credit to Harold, my partner in crime in Europe.
From Europe, yeah.
Yes. So it's just things that we wanted to differentiate Koh Young from everybody else.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that led into remote demos. Remote training. We're still working on remote installation, but the issue there is a lot of people are worried about connecting power.
Yeah.
So
first time. Yeah.
But that's something that we had to do something different. We had to train people. We had to do things that supported our business essential customers, which made us business essential.
Yeah.
So that part, you know, in a way, thank you, China.
Yeah. Well, it's curious, isn't it? And, you know, your customers are part of the Koh Young extended family, and you know, even closer is Harold and his team in Europe. Have you been able to kind of share best practices? I know the situation's somewhat different, but there must have been times where Harold has said, "Hey, this works," or "Hey, I'm really struggling with this one. What have you done?"
So Harold has very good ideas in audiovisual things.
Yeah.
But we talk regularly.
Yeah.
We talk a lot more now because, you know, hey, we did this work. We tried this. Nah, stay away from that. But it's just that for him, it's honestly a lot tougher because he's dealing with countries, and each country has their own way of doing things.
Yeah.
Where for us, once you're in the US, you can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
Where for him, until recently, he said he couldn't go more than 5 kilometers.
Yep. Yeah.
And the restaurants were still closed and things like that. So in the US, they've relaxed that a while back. And in a way, I agree with it. Put the ownership on the businesses. Let them decide. And a lot of them were very cautious, and, you know, going to a restaurant with a mask, then you sit down, they separated the tables. So it's better if you eat outside as opposed to inside. But hey, I've been vaccinated since mid-March.
Yeah.
So
you're out.
As a matter of fact, this week, I have 3 from Mexico in the office in Atlanta. They came for some customer meetings, and oh, by the way, they got vaccinated.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. That makes a huge difference. Well, I remember you saying last year when we were talking about the local restaurants and businesses, you were being very supportive of them by, you know, making sure you got their takeout and, you know, anything that could keep those businesses ticking over. They're starting to come back. They've
been back. Yeah, they've been back for several months.
Yeah, that's great.
At a reduced level, but you know, they serve a role in the community as well. So we had to all band together. Yeah, and we'll get through it.
Yeah, and I keep hearing that, you know, that theme coming through from you, that sense of team, that sense of family, that sense of community. That's just been such a big part. And you learn who your friends are, you learn how the team operates under stress. You probably know a lot more about your business now, Juan, than you did pre-pandemic.
We do. And we found certain things that we, you know, it kind of, as you say, in tough times, you know people better. Yeah. We found things that we didn't realize before that we needed to work on. And it's the constant improvement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, that comes all the way down from Dr. Koh.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you look at the last 12 months, you guys seem to have kept selling. You seem to have kept the business going pretty well. It's not like you've seen a massive dip in terms of demand. So when I ask, what does the recovery look like for Koh Young? Is it a recovery, or has it been pretty steady?
Phil, Q2 was the only bad quarter of 2020. Yeah. Q3 was our best quarter in the history of Koh Young America.
Wow.
And the second half was better than 2018, which is our measuring stick. Mm-hmm. For us, second half of 2019 was a little better. So we were right in between those two. Yeah. So what I call pre-pandemic levels.
Yeah. Okay.
This Q1 that just, finished. Yeah. The best Q1 in the history of Koh Young.
Wow.
And Q2 looks to be the best quarter in the history of Koh Young.
Wow. Okay. So the first half of 2020, just pushing on.
Q2 because Q1 wasn't as bad in 2020. Q2 was bad.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But after that, it's been, we always hover in the 90 machine to 120.
Yeah.
We've been over 90 every quarter since Q3.
Yeah.
And this quarter, we will probably do more than 120.
Yeah. Well, I talk to a lot of EMS companies pretty much every week, and demand is really solid. They're struggling with component shortages and those kind of things, and those are challenging them, but they're still trying to transform their businesses. They're still concerned about efficiency. We talk to people that have got AOI post-reflow, and they're adding your AOI pre-reflow as well, and they're adding THT inspection. So, when I look at the recovery overall, but I look more specifically at technology and particularly inspection, things look pretty solid. Is that how you're seeing it?
Well, Phil, I don't want to jinx it.
No, let's not. Touch wood.
But it's like 2020 never happened. And for us, so one of the theories that we have, reshoring is helping the Americas.
Yeah.
Not having the dependence in China has been huge.
Yeah.
So that's brought a lot of business. But our role with our customers to be the value add, right?
Yeah.
In the Americas, quality is number one. If you don't have quality, you won't survive because you can't have waste.
Yeah.
So we have to bring value add. And some of the things that we do as value add is the multi-point inspection, as you mentioned earlier, SPI pre and post reflow.
Yeah.
And the key there is, our software driven by AI. Yeah. Between K-Smart and KPO, it's just takes our customers to a new level.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of expertise. So we complement their expertise with, software and AI.
Yeah.
And then new products. We continue to tweak what we call the PIN or API product line. Believe it or not, at Koh Young, globally, America sells more PIN machines than anybody else.
Wow, that's good.
That's been huge. Yeah. And then, we have a new product that you've heard, DPI or conformal coating, Neptune.
Yeah.
And that's, we have a waiting list of people for evaluations.
Yeah.
And several large EMSs for global AVL evaluations.
Yeah.
It's just, that's one of the strengths that Koh Young has always had. Find a pain point and provide a solution.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think the reason we're having you've had such a sharp recovery and manufacturing has had such a sharp recovery is because the government sees it as fundamentally important and as essential as part of the recovery and they're doing the right thing? Or is it maybe, as I feel, that the business fundamentals were good pre-pandemic, and as a result, the downturn that we saw was really short because it was very specific to that problem?
So my answer there would be what we told Dr. Koh probably in May and when we got together at GSM. The good part here is we got sick while very healthy.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we were smart and we prepared ourselves, we'd come out of this stronger. And factors that have contributed has always also been, yes, the government, with the reshoring and giving some incentives to manufacturing in the US. But the one that we didn't expect to be so strong by this time is the automotive business.
Yeah.
The automotive business has been booming.
Yeah.
And as you know, Koh Young is a key factor in the automotive manufacturing.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, I hate to jinx it, but it's
touch wood.
Cautiously optimistic is how we are right now.
Yeah, and I think you're right to be optimistic. I think you're right to be cautious as well, because we know we live in a easily disrupted world. So there are challenges there.
Who would have
But
thought
I think,
2020 would be like it was, right?
yeah, absolutely. And you look at the automotive sector, that's changing as we see more EV, and I think that is creating more demand that the EMS companies are able to benefit from, and that should create a greater demand for inspection. So that's good news for you guys. When you have your global GSMs, you obviously compare notes and compare performance. Has the benefit of your strong recovery and the reshoring you've seen in the Americas, has that been reflected negatively in what's been going on in China or Asia? Has it been a particularly challenging period for them?
Actually, China, Asia has been doing pretty well.
That's good.
They recovered, their economy recovered quicker than ours.
Yeah.
And then a lot of global companies have been investing in China and in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Southeast Asia for us is, there used to be China and us up there. And Southeast Asia last quarter, Southeast Asia came in second. We were that close from them. So it was really tight at the end, but they beat us.
Yeah.
But I'll get them this quarter.
Yeah. Well, when they beat you, but you're still beating your previous numbers, that doesn't feel too bad. When you run a personal best and you still get beat, you've given it a good race.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like in golf. I want to lose with my best round.
There you go. That's the way. And a lot of the business we're seeing in Mexico is Asian companies building factories there. Are you seeing some of that benefit in your business?
Yes, but not only Asian. There's been a lot of Asian influence, but also European.
Okay.
A lot of the automotive has been European.
Okay. That's good to see as well, isn't it? So when you manage those, you get a handover, you get a crossover, or you and Harold or you and the team in Asia will work together.
So the team in Asia and some of those accounts, they're so deep into these accounts that our Korean team will send support to help us, because when they launch some of these lines, you're putting 20, 30 machines together. So our two guys can't keep up.
Can't do it all. No, absolutely.
Right. But so again, teamwork, right? Yeah. In the end, it's all Koh Young. That's why we try not to, as you know, we're very proud of KYA.
Yeah.
But it's really Koh Young. And in the end, it doesn't matter what pocket. If Koh Young is having the best quarters in history, hey, sometimes we will lead, sometimes China will lead, some others will lead. But in the end, Koh Young gets the business, we all win.
Yeah. And what I've always liked about Koh Young is that constant innovation. You're always coming up with new things, always coming up with new inspection opportunities for your customers that offer them real tangible benefits. I imagine during lockdown, you didn't send all your R&D engineers or all your innovators home. They were all busy working on new products. What's that internal development process been like over the last year?
That's been very hard, because a lot of it was working from home, which made the management team, manage that. That's a lot harder to manage when they're all everywhere. Our office in headquarters in Korea closed several times, and then they would bring in a little at a time.
Yeah.
The R&D center in San Diego, they were closed for months.
Yeah.
So
everybody took all that equipment home.
Well, the equipment's there. It's just the lights are off.
Yeah.
Actually, some people would go in, turn it on so they could remote in and try software, things like that. Yeah. But it was very conservative in how the we didn't want to expose anybody.
Yeah.
Similar to our engineers. I told you they were all traveling. It was voluntary. Hey, there's this job. You okay with that? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
After a couple of months of sitting at home, they were ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big change, isn't it? It's absolutely a big change. Well, it's good to hear. It's great to hear that everything's moving in the right direction. And as I say, the recovery for you, for the industry, for the economy generally looks strong. And touch wood. Let's hope that continues. And I do see many businesses like yourself coming out stronger and better. And I think that's the old adage of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's good to see.
Very true. Very true.
Great stuff. Well, absolute pleasure to catch up and talk to you again. Thanks so much for your time. All the best in the future. And I do hope that we will be chinking a couple of bottles of beer together in
God, I hope so, Phil.
That would be so
just
nice.
For our mental health, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, great to talk to you. Thanks a lot, and we will chat again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.